Somewhere there's a marketing channel that you cut because the data was telling you it wasn't converting. But here's the thing, the data didn't tell you that. Your attribution model did. And by the end of this video, you will know what an attribution model is, the 4 that you're most likely to run into, which model your analytics platform is running right now, because the reality is you almost certainly didn't pick that model. An attribution model is just a rule to decide which channel gets the credit. That's it. Someone sees your Instagram post, clicks on a few Google ads, goes and checks out your reviews, then comes back a few weeks later via a branded search and converts. 5 touch points, 1 conversion, and the model decides which touch point gets the credit. And every model decides differently, which means the report that you see on your screen is an interpretation, and something else selected that interpretation for you. Imagine a personal trainer. He posts consistently on Instagram and gets engagement. He's also investing a few $100s a month on Google ads, and again is driving traffic and leads to his business. Then he opens his analytics. That social media engagement isn't translating into website visits. The Google ads are driving website visits, but they're not driving conversions. Then he looks at his traffic sources closer and sees that direct is responsible for the majority of his conversions. So he concludes that word of mouth is his biggest driver of leads. But here's the thing, every one of those conclusions is a result of the attribution model, not the impact of his marketing. And he's about to cut budget to the channels that are actually generating him leads. He just doesn't realize it. There's 4 main attribution models that you're most likely to come across. The first is last touch. 100% of the credit goes to the last touch point before the conversion. Everything else gets 0. Then there's first touch, which is the absolute opposite. 100% of the credit goes to the first touch point in that journey. It's great at showing you where awareness is driven from, but if you're interested in where your conversions are coming from, you're not going to see that with a first touch point attribution model. Then there's linear. Everything gets the credit split evenly. So if there's 5 touch points, each one is going to get 20% of that credit, which means that branded Google ad, which was the last touch point before the sale, is going to get the same credit as that Instagram ad that they engaged with 6 weeks ago. Then there's time decay, which gives increasing credit towards the last touch point in the sale. Earlier ones still count, they just count for less. So this is great if you have shorter sales cycles, but almost useless if you're in B2B and have a long sales cycle. So again, the same customer with the same 5 touch points, but different attribution models are going to lead you to very different conclusions about what is working in your marketing activity. So here's the big question, which attribution model are you on? And here's the thing that most people do not tell you. Most likely you are using GA4 as your default analytics platform. And GA4 uses a data-driven attribution model, which is Google's machine learning model. It looks at your actual conversion paths and then uses machine learning to assign credit to the things that actually shift the needle. It's the best of the options because it's tailored towards your business, and it's great because it sounds like everything is covered. But there's a few things to bear in mind. Firstly, this is Google's machine learning algorithm. We have no idea exactly what goes into that. So we are relying entirely on Google and putting our trust in them. But here's the other thing, just like any algorithm or machine learning model, it needs volume. Per Google's own documentation, it needs roughly 400 conversions of your main conversion action and roughly 20,000 actions across all conversion actions. Anything below that, and GA4 is going to default to a last touch attribution model. And this is the thing, a personal trainer and most small to medium-sized businesses are getting nowhere near those numbers. So that means the model you thought was super sophisticated and really related to your business is actually defaulting to a last touch attribution model. It's not the end of the world, but it's something you need to be aware of. So here are your Monday actions. First, find out which attribution model you are actually on. If you're on GA4, just come down here to the admin section. Then under data display, select events. From here, select attribution settings, and this is where you can see which attribution model you're currently on. Look at the reporting model and the look back window. Defaults are 30 days for acquisition events, and 90 days for other key events. It takes you just 2 minutes to find this out, and it's going to be super valuable to help you understand which model you're using and how to interpret the data that you're reporting out on every month. The second is to compare assisted conversions to last touch conversions. Assisted means that the channel appeared on the path, but it wasn't the final touch point. Just like in football or soccer, depending on where you're from, but we all know that it's called football, not soccer, the striker gets all of the credit when he scores the goal. But you don't want to forget about that midfielder who's pinging those long passes to him and feeding him every single time. That's the same way to look at your marketing activity. Don't obsess over that last touch point that's getting all of the credit. Look at the assisted conversions as well to see what is feeding those final conversions. And if you want a cross-check that doesn't rely on attribution models or people accepting cookies, then the best thing you can do is on your lead gen forms and your checkout flow, add a line of free text that simply asks people where they heard about you. Make sure you keep that free text so you really get that insight from customers and you're not pigeonholing them into different channels. But treat this as a sense check. It's not something to replace your existing data. It just gives you that extra level of insight into how people are finding you. And finally, once you've done those two things, make sure you start setting KPIs to each channel that is for the job that they're actually doing. Instagram's job might not be to drive your sales, but its job might be for everybody to learn about your business and know your brand name 3 weeks before they convert into a customer. Judge it on its ability to do that, not generate the last click before a sale. And that is why it is so important to create the right KPIs for your team and for the different channels that you're using. You now know something that most marketers don't know. Your report isn't the truth. It's one model's opinion, and you know how to go and check which one you're running. If that's the kind of thing that you want to get properly good at, attribution, analytics, and proving what truly works, then this is the channel for you, and I would love it if you could hit that subscribe button and see me in the next video.